Hello and welcome to episode 35 of Pixel Sift. My name is Gianni, and as usual I'm joined by my fantastic co-hosts Mitch and Scott.
Hey.
And on the line today with us is Jacob Janerka. He's one of the guys with the strongest games and GIFs you could even hope for. He's creating the wonderful and bizarre game Paradigm. How you going, Jacob?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us on the show today. And we'll be chatting a little bit about Paradigm and making games and all that a bit later in the episode.
Yeah, we'll also be bringing you our E3 wrap-up and our impressions of what the big names in gaming had to offer.
Yes, and finally we're looking at movies based on video games. Sorry, a bit slow on the uptake there. The good, the bad, and the simply awful.
That's everything that's coming up today on episode 35
Pretty
of
sure.
Pixel Sift. Hopefully, maybe a bit more. Let's jump into it.
You're listening to Pixel Sift.
Jacob Janerka is a video game developer based in Perth. He joins us on the line via the magic of Skype right now. Jacob, you're developing a point-and-click adventure game. Can you tell us a little bit about how that kind of came about and what the game sort of inspired the game?
Yeah, sure. So I was at uni, and basically I had to make this big project. And at the time, there was like indie game movie kind of just came out. And it's a pretty typical story for a lot of people. Like they watch it and then just like, I can actually make video games. And then I ended up doing a video game, which was like a 2D platformer, like Super Meat Boy originally. Paradigm actually started out like that. But then I later on realized that I could make point-and-click adventure games on my own without having a programmer or anything like that. So jumped onto that and ended up being a lot easier than I expected to be.
Well, I mean, in that indie game, the movie, there's kind of, I guess, both sides. There's definitely the highs and the lows of it. Did you know what you were kind of getting yourself into when you were starting to make this game? Has it been a good experience going through and putting it all together?
I mean, it's just the kind of stuff. I mean, personally, I don't mind that kind of stuff. Like it is, I guess, a relatively emotional journey, but it's what I would be doing anyway, regardless. Like making things is like how I live.
Part of the creative expression of stuff. Now, one of the things I really enjoyed when playing the demo and stuff is that the art style does a really good does a good job of capturing the feeling of these older point-and-click adventure games. And you've mentioned previously that you're heavily inspired by the LucasArts games. What do you do when you were kind of developing the characters, and how did they kind of come about?
A lot of like initially the game was just it didn't really have any specific setting. Like I just wanted it to be weird, and then I realized like this isn't really that interesting, and then I started thinking about like what kind of setting that I would want it to be in, and then I made it Eastern Europe, and then basically took it from there. Like at the time I liked Pixar movies, but I was kind of mad that you always the kind of similar, very, very kind of similar kind of stories and that kind of stuff, and very, I wouldn't say safe. I'm not calling Pixar safe, but I wanted some more adult themes in like a Pixar themed style kind of thing, and that's how it kind of developed.
I guess one of the things that we wanted to talk about as well is like when you were putting this game together, you went and decided to go for a Kickstarter campaign, and you got quite a good response, much more than you were asking for. One of the funny things that you've got on your site is actually an email generator from Kickstarter backers. What has been some of the reactions to people who've been waiting for your game, hopefully hoping to get the game into their hands?
Generally, it's been pretty fine. I kind of made that to deter people from being like really mad. Like it was just like a funnel for that kind of stuff. I generally get an email like every 2 days asking me when it's going to be done. they don't get too mad. Like I probably had only like one guy being mad at me, and he was just like being abusive.
Oh, really?
But it's really rare. Like 99% of the fans are like super great. Like I haven't really experienced anything too bad from them.
Yeah, Jacob, I love the interactions between some of your characters, like, and like some of like when you're choosing an option, like some of the awkward moments that just appear just out of the timing, like when Doug talks to the main character and like does his like beatboxing. How do you create some of those like, you know, atmospheres?
How do I create them?
Yeah.
To be honest, it's just like I just kind of brainstorm. Like a lot of the design direction for Paradigm, I wanted like almost every interaction as unique as possible. Like I didn't want to make it like an interaction you just click on, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. Like I wanted almost everything to be kind of a surprise. So I just spent a lot of time like brainstorming on a piece of paper, like doing like writing as many words as I can on a piece of paper, and just eventually linking up things that I find like makes myself laugh.
Nice.
What are some of the harder things about, I guess, developing a game like this by yourself? I know you've got a musician on board to help with the musical aspects of this game, but what are some of the challenges of doing that?
It's definitely just the balance of everything. Like if you work on one thing, no one else is working on anything else. So like for example, normally I'll do things in bursts. So like I'll work for a couple of weeks like just on art, and then a couple of weeks just on like the programming kind of side on it. And it's kind of frustrating because, you know, each side complements each other, and you want to get it out to testers, but you have to finish the art before you can actually do the programming. It's like super frustrating that you don't have like someone else who can just like do one part of it while you're doing another.
Have you ever thought about expanding it out to a bigger team?
Not really, like, because it adds an extra expense to building the game. And also I just wanted to kind of prove to myself that I could do it by myself.
One of the other projects that you are working on, Scourge Legacy, with Wade K. Savage, who we spoke to in a couple of episodes. How did that kind of come about, that sort of collaboration?
Oh, he just needed someone to do some art for him. Like I not necessarily collaborating with him. Like I just did some art for him and helped him out with some of the game ideas and stuff like that. I'm not sure what he's doing with it now at the moment.
Would you want to move into that after you finished shipping Paradigm and putting it out there? Would that be
No, I'll probably be working on my own projects. I mean, that's another reason why I worked alone, because like as you can see, a lot of my ideas are pretty weird. So it's like quite hard to convince someone to do those kind of ideas, because they don't see it in their heads unless you actually show it. Like if I went up to someone and was like, oh, I want to make a beatboxing eggplant, like what does that even mean? Like you can't imagine that at all. Like
I think once you've got Paradigm there as like a backer for your ideas, I think people will be more up for it, because it is fantastic and it is a bit, you know, really quirky.
One of the
it's the major strength of it for me as a game anyway.
It's the pro and con of having complete creative control of that. You've got to do everything yourself, but if you do it all yourself, you can do it exactly as you like. So.
Yeah. But sometimes the problem is that you don't have anyone behind you just going, oh, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that idea.
I guess your fans can do that for you. Maybe like they can respond, like, and let you know what's cool and what's not, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I use like social media for. Like sometimes I can gauge if like people like an idea or not, and I'll expand on it more. But, you know, there's just sometimes like overall things that you can't show fans, like the actual game. It's like quite hard to gauge it because you're just working on it for so long. And pretty much in like Indie Game the movie, when Phil Fish is just talking about like he doesn't know if it's good anymore because he's been working on it for so long.
Well, look, you can jump on to Jacob's Tumblr if you want to check out some amazing animated GIFs. You can jump over to paradigmadventure.com if you want to find out some more information. You've got a demo up there for people to play as well. So you can check all that out. Jacob, stick around. We'll jump into our next topic right now.
Too easy.
You're listening to Pixel Sift. Or you might be watching Pixel Sift on Twitch. Pixel Sift.
So yes, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, or as we know it, E3, kicked off this week, presented by the Entertainment Software Association, or ESA. And as usual, it's bringing to the forefront all the newest and best games.
It's one of the biggest events in gaming for the year. If you are into the big mainstream games, but obviously those big console platforms and stuff are the ways that smaller games can get onto there as well.
Yeah, industry-only event as well. That's what kind of sets it apart, that it's not just everyone kind of Comic-Con and on. It's, industry people with industry.
But it really isn't, though, because everyone knows what's happening because it's all live streamed and
everyone, but, they don't get access in there to play all the things.
I guess so.
So we've seen quite a few big announcements from lots of the different developers that have been out there. What are some of the things that have been catching your eye?
I'm the only one that cares about this ever. It's Halo Wars 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I like it.
Much interest in
I
that.
can't wait.
Is that like an RTS?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait.
And except this time it's actually going to come out on
PC. I get to play it with a keyboard and mouse.
wow.
So good.
Microsoft's been doing some pretty interesting stuff with their Xbox One platform. They're pretty much having almost like the PS4, PS Vita crossplay, but you can now play most of their first-party titles or the new ones coming out on either PC or on your Xbox.
It's really cool.
And they're actually bringing keyboard and mouse to Xbox as well. So they're basically making the Xbox into a computer that sits underneath your TV.
At some point, there was no Xbox. It'll just be like PC. Box.
Yeah, pretty much. It just seems like they're blurring the lines between the two of them.
So I think they're purposely doing this, though. They're purposely blurring that line to kind of...
So when we reported on Xbox trying to like merge the technologies together and people were angry that they don't want the Xbox to be a thing, Microsoft, they were doing that. Do you think that their concerns might be legitimized, maybe?
I don't know. I think there's always going to be people who are going to be playing PC games, and Microsoft controls the platform for both of these two platforms, basically. There's not a lot of people playing games on Mac yet, but if you can get people who are linked in all through the thing playing on whatever platform they choose to.
Like, do you think we'll just get like a Steam app on the Xbox One?
Well, there's been lots of games that have come out on Xbox One that I would have quite liked to have played, but I don't own an Xbox One.
That's true.
So I could play it on my PC and go from there. So I think that's probably... It's sort of the direction of these sort of things are kind of heading in as well.
Like, at the end of the day, like, is someone not buying an Xbox One worth it? Why don't you just put it on everything and then the person that has a PC can just click a button and say, hey... The console
hardware has always kind of been... It's kind of been the loss leader that people go for. You lose money on the actual pieces of hardware. You make a bit of money on peripherals and bits and pieces, but software is where you make most of your money. So you now don't have to develop the software or the hardware if you're getting it to work on PC as well. You just port it across. If they do a good job of it, it'll be good. I think most people would be happy with that. So
we'll see where that goes. But back to E3. I mean, there was like 97 games to talk about, so we were jamming into this little segment.
Smash them in. Yeah.
So there's like I said, 97 games. We've got 47 new titles, 39 existing stuff, so sequels and whatever, and a few remasters as well. And I'm going to start the remasters just because it's a small list. COD Modern Warfare, as we know.
Yay.
Also, that's going to be awesome. Crash Bandicoot.
That's interesting.
We've got a couple of VR remakes as well. Doom and Fallout are coming back in VR. And Skyrim, which is, I heard that a couple of days ago. Is
the Skyrim remake is really...
it's a bit confusing.
It looks average.
I find it really, especially because it's coming out again on PC. A lot of the things that they've improved have been improved by mods on PC.
Yeah, exactly.
They would have been done a long time ago, yeah. But they are opening up mods for PS4 and X for consoles now.
How does that work?
I don't exactly know how they're going to do it, how they're going to implement it, but I have seen a brief
But it works
video.
for Fallout 4 currently. They've got that system in place, so they've kind of just brought that across into the thing. But
see, that's it. I haven't even sunk time into Fallout 4 yet. I can't go back to Skyrim. I'll get lost in that again. It's, for me, I wish if they'd spent a little bit more time on just getting the new Elder Scrolls or whatever
in place.
What's the new one? 6? Something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go
anyway,
from there.
It feels like just
remakes. We've got some new titles as well coming out.
Heaps of new titles coming out, actually. There's a couple of that stood out for me. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, man, so cool.
Developer Guerrilla. It looks, it's really well put together, kind of futuristic world where machines and robots are dominant. This young kind of lady in like this primitive kind of human race ventures out to find out all the answers to how the world got that way.
Oh, that's the Robo Cave People one, basically, right?
Yeah. What else have we got? We've got. This is a strange one. I don't know how it's going to be, but I'm really interested in it. Detroit: Become Human. It's an awesome,
amazing
view of like a future, like not too far away kind of thing, and you play as an android in the midst of like a negotiation hostage situation. Due later this year from developers Quantic Dream, who brought us Heavy Rain.
So do you think the whole game is that one situation, or do you think there'll be multiple situations?
From what I gathered, I think it is just that, and then there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of different ways to get there.
Okay.
I think, and it might. I don't know. I could be wrong. Days Gone was another one that looks really cool, in the vein of kind of Last of Us, post-pandemic world type thing. Looks like a really strong kind of in story, and
I'm really interested to check
the demo,
out.
But I heard great things.
Have a look a bit more about Kojima's new game, Hideo Kojima's new game, Death Stranded, which stars
Stranding.
Death Stranding. Stars Norman Reedus from the
Walking Dead fame.
Yeah, boy, does it star him.
Yeah.
Stars
In
him
all
real
his,
good.
It's
skin glory.
Yeah, trippy Metal Gear Solid at its weirdest,
Yeah.
which is
thinking, like,
probably my favourite bit of Metal Gear.
Post-apocalyptic, but slash Matrix
Sci-fi,
type
future-y,
thing. Like
yeah.
the whole way they were all wired in. They've got like these kind of wires
Strange.
connected strands. I'm guessing going to somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait for more on that one because it's a very strange.
And I think it's
doesn't
just
give much away kind of.
Bit of a
trailer.
tease. I think that would be a bit more.
I'm kind of curious if he actually has a game idea, and all he did was just like make that small video, and that was it. And he's like, "Oh shit, now I have to make the game."
Well, apparently Kojima wanted to work with Reedus on
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. Damn, I was
Yeah.
about to say Splinter Hill. Splinter Cell.
Yeah, they were previously attached to the project before it got kind of canned, and Kojima was famously had a bit of a falling out with Konami. So, I'm the thing about Kojima is I'm wondering if he might head down the whole Molyneux track, where he's starting to do these like grand,
Goddess.
clear claims of things,
Well,
and
if he was ever going to do it, like now that he's got his own studio, now's the time.
I don't know.
To be Peter Molyneux? Yeah, sure, it is absolutely the time.
I don't think he had that much restriction on him previously.
Probably
He kind of
not.
do whatever he wanted. One of the other things I saw that was really interesting is Nintendo gave some pretty flimsy excuses for why Link couldn't be a female character in the thing.
what did they say?
They basically said, the whole dynamic is that we have Ganondorf and Zelda and Link, and they're all part of the Triforce of Power, and they've all got a different aspect, and we have to have it two guys, a girl, in a pizza place.
You know why
Why
they
don't they just change it so that Zelda's trying to save Link?
That's the only they said that's the only way they could switch it around, but I don't really understand. It doesn't really make
You know
any
why they
sense.
didn't do it? Tumblr's already doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like nothing we can do can possibly make it better than Tumblr.
I mean,
A couple more I'll just jam in.
yep.
Just on the back of this female lead character topic,
Mm-hmm.
there are 6 female lead characters amongst all those games.
In 95 games.
In 97 games, I know, but it's a slow battle.
Yeah.
All right. We've got Dishonored, For Honor, the Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect, and I don't know that one. Recall? Yes.
Yeah, Recall. That's
Which is
cool.
basically robots stealing cores for your
like
own
that.
robots that fight robots. Lots of robots.
So many robots.
Yes, so many robots. A couple of really good ones that I really should mention on the indie pulse. Dual Universe. It's been called like an MMO take on No Man's Sky. It looks really cool. It's like a fully explorable land, space, civilization builder type thing. It looks really vast and kind of free. And the other indie one that stood out is Inside, which is a dark puzzle-style side-scroller from Danish developer Playdead of 2010's Limbo fame. And that one's out very soon, actually. I think it's like this month even, maybe.
Cool.
There's been some really interesting stuff being talked about that particular game. Apparently, it's quite a fascinating concept, but they didn't really show too much of the game itself.
It's because it's a playthrough type thing. So if you watch it, it's spoil it kind of thing. It's all like surprised by the next kind of thing that gets you. You're side scrolling in this dark little creepy thing, and something's trying to shoot you, and you've got to not be shot and not die. There's all these obstacles in front of you. So, long list of existing kind of sequels and stuff. Final Fantasy 15, Battlefield 1, Forza, Ghost...
Set in Australia now, mate.
Recon Wildlands, which looks fantastic. I wish we had a little bit more time to talk about that one.
The only problem is like some of the presentation at the Ubisoft one was all over the place. The voice acting in the thing was,
It was
just
a bit crap.
atrocious.
Yeah, it's terrible. It was so naff.
Yeah.
Wicked one
Far
that's
less
going to be a
swearing than
huge
it should
show,
be.
Quake Champions. No info on that really, but more will be unveiled at QuakeCon in August.
Plenty of big releases there.
Yeah, Mafia 3, Resident Evil 7, Battlefront X-Wing VR, which looks kind of cool, and Watch Dogs 2.
Heaps of sequels. Heaps of sequels. I'm personally more interested in all the sort of the hardware stuff and all that sort of thing. So I think the Microsoft thing is really interesting. It's something a bit different. Yeah, I think there's plenty more to come out of this. There's plenty of Nintendo stuff as well that's come out.
There's
Pokemon
so
Go is
much
coming out next month as well, which is going to be huge. So
Are we going to go find Pokemon?
I think we probably will.
Yeah.
We'll be out
We'll
there
catch
finding
them all.
Pokemon. Exactly right. Let's jump into our next topic.
Pixel Sift. Pixel Sift. No, seriously, Pixel Sift. No, seriously.
Pixel Sift.
All right, so yeah, video game movie adaptations have been the butt of every joke in entertainment media for like the longest time, pretty much. So why is that the case? I mean, there's so much fan overlap between movies and video games. Why, when they meet, it seems like it's garbage?
There's plenty of them coming out at the moment, or have just recently
absolutely.
came out. We just had Angry Birds,
Yep.
where they've stretched that into a film. We had
Stretched it.
Ratchet and Clank, which came out a month ago. It hasn't quite come out here in Australia yet. In the States, it came out.
I can actually answer your question though, Mitch.
All right,
Instead of it
go
just
for
being
it.
rhetoric or what ruined, I feel, the idea of video game movies was the first one that really did it big was Super Mario Brothers back in '93. It was so
That's a classic, though. That's a classic.
no, but
rag on the.
But it was so god awful that it kind of ruined the way video game movies were perceived, like forever. Nobody's really kind of fixed that yet.
I think, yeah, you're right, Jacob, in that it is a classic.
And I've seen it like way too many times.
And just like watching like something like The Room, for example, you kind of just brace yourself and can just enjoy the experience. So,
but like
think
now more
just-
than sorry, Jacob, go for it.
No, you can continue.
Too kind. Now more than ever, like the bridges between the media, between different forms of media and the mediums between them, I guess, are shorter than ever. And movies are being made a bit safer kind of these days. So the idea of kind of movies being made with an existing brand, kind of, and being brand orientated, makes me think that we're going to see a lot more of these game movies coming out now that now that we're not in the 90s and we can probably pull it off a little bit better.
Now that I think Activision, Blizzard, they have they're buying studios and they're actually making their own movies.
Leading the way.
Yeah, like they got World of Warcraft movie, and I will buy a ticket to that just to show Blizzard that I will absolutely watch an Overwatch movie.
Yeah.
Because I want an
that's
Overwatch
it.
movie
Like,
back.
what's the difference really with Overwatch is basically a game and a bunch of little movies and stuff. It's so close to that Pixar kind of thing that again, bridging that gap between what is a movie and what's a game and what's a cartoon.
Jacob, have you been developing your Paradigm IP for optioning for a film?
I would watch.
I already sold it, man. I'm a millionaire. I don't think anyone would buy it except for like Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Hey,
I totally want to pitch like an Adult Swim show.
some of my favorite shows are on Adult Swim.
But yeah, I think to be honest, I think the problem with video game movies is that a lot of the games that they made movies were just shit stories. Like not shit stories, but it wasn't really about the story. Like Doom, for example, they made a Doom movie that was terrible because there wasn't really much of a plot in it.
I'm thinking the thing about it is like they did the one good thing about the Doom movie is they actually did quite a good first-person shootery section in it where it kind of felt a bit like the game, but the rest of it was just.
But that's just like pandering to the audience. Like, look at this as an actual game.
Yeah.
Hey,
Doom,
wink,
remember
wink.
Doom?
Like,
We're up with it.
that's like
that seems to be half the problem, though. People that play video games aren't impressed when the movie really embraces the game on that level because they see it as pandering. And
the harshest critics.
but then when they don't do that, it's not true to the franchise.
Yeah.
So I think that might be part of it as
And
well.
if you do type thing.
Yeah.
Well, one of the criticisms leveled at the recent Warcraft movie is that it was kind of pandering too much to the fans, and anyone else who didn't play every single Warcraft game that had come out and knew the vast majority of the lore are kind of left a bit cold because you're just thrown into it, basically. So,
Right.
Yeah, maybe you are doomed if you are, and doomed if you do, or doomed if you
A
don't.
little bit hard, isn't it? Bringing everyone up to speed without kind of rehashing everything. Plenty of wicked movies coming up though, this year, next year, etc. I've got a few lists here.
Go for it, Scotty.
Go for it, Scott. You're
I do
good.
love my listicles.
Yeah.
Minecraft, I'll start with there. Not sure exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Minecraft movie.
With Rob McElhenney from
McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Is that so?
What?
yeah,
Yeah,
playing.
he took the place of the person that was in charge last year.
Please tell me it's animated.
Yeah.
Not, okay.
I think it is,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, well, he's working with producer Roy Lee from the Lego Movie, and he's also working with
That's all right.
Jill Messick from Mean Girls to get the film off the ground.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Bizarre.
So there's some dates on a few more. Sly Cooper is coming out this year. Sonic the Hedgehog is for 2018, and we've got like
Mitch, Mitch,
I know.
you're grown, Mitch, but you'll be lining up very
I will.
much for
I'll
that
watch
game.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I'll do it.
and next year we can look forward to seeing Splinter Cell, Tomb Raider, Uncharted, and The Witcher all make their move to the big screen. Which
Next month we've got Assassin's Creed too.
yeah, also Assassin's Creed. Is it next month? Is December? I think.
Oh, maybe that's a July
Assassin's
America.
Creed is due December 21, 2016. Gianni,
July
I think you'll
America.
find-
I think it'll be probably on the sites of ill repute, not that far after it comes out in America.
But as far as like video games really kind of taking their own as movies, Uncharted and The Witcher are ones to look out for, I reckon.
I don't know about. See, the thing
Just
about
because they're like already just like really well done kind of stories, I guess. Even though The Witcher's
the thing about Uncharted and things like Last of Us as well, that they talked about making movies from that. So much of that is cinematic in the way that the game actually has come about. They actually have all the motion capture. The actors actually act out the lines live.
they're
and
almost movies already, mini movies.
What does a movie kind of add to that?
Do you
Well,
think-
I feel like they get the opportunity to take that further, without even having to worry about the gameplay. They can just do that little cinematic thing, but tenfold.
Do you think
Well,
that's
it's-
why movies based on games that aren't really that cinematic do relatively well? I've got the Pokemon first movie is within the top 10 of if box office mojo is to be believed.
But I guess that also
Yeah.
had the legacy of being an animated series
That's
as well
true,
for a long
yeah.
time as well. So it kind of, you have an existing audience that kind of went from there.
Over in Japan, we've also got Nintendo teaming up with Universal Studios Japan, and they probably have a few things on the burner. I'd say Zelda, Super Mario, and Metroid are something to look forward to in the near future.
All right.
Nothing locked in, but like I said, it's Nintendo's teaming up with Universal Studios, so
We've talked about
something's
this.
gonna happen.
We've talked about movies in the past, but not sort of talked about it from the angle of a game being made into a film. And I think with any of these other companion bits and pieces that media that they have, like books and comics and all that other bits and pieces, it sort of needs to be done in a way that kind of adds to the experience and is done from a perspective like things that might have been cut out from the game. Maybe we can have an extra story that's instead of a cash in to kind of just milk the audience that you've already got for a few extra.
That's really interesting,
dollars.
actually. Instead of pushing it from taking the story where bringing non-gaming people into the story and letting them know what's going on, maybe take it into a different direction where we can both as gamers and non-gamers kind of learn the story together.
That's actually
something that we don't know about already.
That's actually something that the Halo novels do quite well. They explore the human versus human conflict a lot in the Halo novels.
Yeah,
actually more than the human versus alien conflict almost. And I think that's pretty cool.
Provides a bit of context that doesn't come into it. I mean, the thing about Halo as well is you've got to remember that a lot of it was stuff that, and I think about this often about Star Wars as well, in that if Halo wasn't a huge success, none of that stuff would have existed.
That's
so
true.
It kind of was created as a sort of a backfill and retcon of all of the history and stuff. Like none of that was mentioned in the game really.
No, it wasn't.
So that all became because it was popular. I mean, it was good because it did do something extra and added more to it. But they've got to think about it in that particular way. So, there'll be plenty of good movies coming out. There'll be plenty of bad movies coming
there's
out.
Plenty of things to look forward to. Plenty of things to not look forward to, like the to-be-announced Centipede movie, as well as Asteroids. That's going to be a movie too.
I want to be in that movie.
And The Sims.
The Sims?
Are you kidding?
Oh, wait, there's one more on my bad list. Roller Coaster Tycoon.
No. You know what? I take it back. I said less cinematic games might do better.
Sorry,
so
Jacob.
maybe.
Sorry, Jacob. What was that?
I was like, who's funding these games? Like, I guess they're trying to make it like comic book movies and trying to get that, like, be the first people to crack that.
Yeah.
Master Chief goes to Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Well, let's not talk any rubbish until they start bringing out the Minesweeper movie, and then we'll be talking about the big money.
Yeah, watch that.
That's pretty much what we've got.
Solitaire, bro.
Yeah, Solitaire.
Isn't that just the Hurt Locker? My movie?
Wow. Okay. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you, Jacob, for joining us for this episode of Pixel Sift. You can go to paradigmadventure.com to check out all the bits and pieces for the game. Should be coming out pretty soon.
Do it.
In the next couple of weeks. We will be back again very soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you all.
See ya.
Good fun. Peace.
Pixel Sift.